Now let's get a little deeper into our headlines. Johnny wanted to talk about Dave Chappelle and his most recent Netflix special, which has been getting a lot of criticism from the LGBTQ community, as well as praise from comedians. So let's get into it, and we'll bring in our guest host.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
We're going to bring in our newest guest host, Ellen Dahl, who is gay and an aspiring comedian.
Hi, Ellen.
Welcome
I
back,
don't even
Ellen.
think she's a guest
Hello.
host. I don't even
You
feel
can
like
do
she's a guest
both.
host. Like she's one of us. She's one of us. So, kind
She's
of
a
a
guest host
guest host with an asterisk.
with the
So,
asterisk.
yeah.
She's part of the
Like that.
team. She's part of the team.
She's staff. She's staff. She's fam. She's family.
Staff.
She is fam. All right, Johnny, tell us what's going on.
Okay, guys, so the comedian Dave Chappelle loves making people mad. Throughout his career, he's delighted in delivering jokes that offend or tell uncomfortable truth. So, in his latest special for Netflix, The Closer, this is no different. During his special, he explores at length his strained relationship with the LGBTQ community, clarifying some off-color jokes that he's told over the years. The special that arrived on October 5th has resulted in plenty of backlash from the LGBTQ community and trans activists. So, with many social media pressuring Netflix to actually take down the special, Netflix responds in defense to Dave Chappelle, vowing to leave it up no matter how much criticism the company receives. So, guys, my question is, do you think Dave Chappelle should be canceled?
You said, do you believe what? Say it again. I couldn't hear you. What was the
Oh,
question?
I'm sorry. My question is, do you think Dave Chappelle should be canceled?
Should be canceled. All right, Ellen, what do you think? Did you see it?
Okay. Yes. I
Good.
actually watched it twice. Not because I enjoyed it, but because there was a lot, and I haven't seen a stand-up special like that in a really long time. Um, so I'm gay, but I'm also a huge fan of stand-up comedy, and that often comes into harsh conflict. Um, but this was not hard to parse through. First and foremost, it was unfunny. It was, before I talk about how it was actually, I feel, harmful to trans people, something that's funny about jokes is context. And perhaps it was funny 20 years ago, 30 years ago to make fun of gay people or trans people or whatever, because that's what, I don't know. I guess it was funny. But given the current context, it just doesn't, the jokes just fall flat. Like, if you make a gay age joke, how many times has that been played out? And it's frustrating because it's lazy, and he's a brilliant comedian and he doesn't need to be lazy. So it's like, where is this coming from? And it comes from this weird vendetta he has with trans people. And he gives this long anecdote about how he loved this trans person, this trans comedian named Daphne, and he adored her. And he's somehow unable to connect his love for her with um perpetuating harmful jokes about the trans community. So
So
it was
you
a
weren't
lot, but
feeling it. So you didn't think it was,
I was not,
and you thought it was
I didn't
offensive.
think it was, I thought it was offensive. And I've heard funny gay jokes before. My ear does not turn off as soon as there's a gay joke, because nuanced gay jokes can be really funny. He makes a lot of nuanced jokes about race that I think are funny. I like the way he talks about white gay people, but he also, when he talks about gay people being white, he oftentimes excludes the fact that gay people of color or queer people of color share these opinions, that Dave Chappelle is unfunny in a lot of these regards. So
So do you
yeah,
think he is
there's a lot.
transphobic and does not like gay trans people?
Well, I think that he can be, I think he's transphobic. I think he's transphobic. And but I don't think he meets a trans person and immediately dislikes them. Um because that's kind of not how that's not how bigotry works. You look at groups of people, like, someone who is verifiably racist can have black friends because it doesn't have anything to do with individual relationships. So he's not able
Mm.
to. So he's, I think he's transphobic, but I don't think he would be hateful to an individual. He just has this vendetta for this community, and he's obsessed with being canceled. And I think, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I want to hear what you guys
I,
have to say
I
because
see
it's a
Lizzie.
lot.
Lizzie's been pretty
Thank you,
animated.
Ellen.
Let me go to Lizzie.
Yeah,
Lizzie, I think you're muted or something.
you're muted.
All right.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Because I was coughing. Sorry again. Strike two for Lizzie today. One, I want to like hug Ellen right now for admitting or acknowledging or sharing that she didn't think this was funny. I've been saying this ever since it came out. And the Black community tends to rally around a lot of Black comedians or entertainers. And when they do something, we're supposed to support them and acknowledge that we liked it. No, I didn't like it. I didn't think this was funny. I didn't think the last, comedy special that he did for Netflix, I believe it was called Sticks and Stones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was funny. So I appreciate you saying, that you didn't find it funny. You're allowed to say that. I'm allowed to say that. But people are also allowed to say, I love it. I think it's funny or whatever. That's what happens in democracy. The problem that I
Absolutely.
have with this whole backlash, with this everyone being outraged about this faux backlash, if you will, is that criticism does not equal cancellation. Dave Chappelle did a comedy special on a very public platform, getting paid millions of dollars by Netflix to give us some comedy. Comedy, his whole shtick is okay, I'm going to court controversy. And so if that's your spiel, you know that not everyone's going to like what you said. You are creating jokes that you know are going to be offensive. And
Mm-hmm.
people have a right to be
Be
offended.
offended.
People have a right to say, I don't like this. And the question at the top of, this segment was about whether we think he should be canceled or whatever. Dave Chappelle keeps bringing up cancellation. That's something that he talks about. And then people
Yes.
pick up on
Yes.
that and run with it. He has not been canceled. He has not lost any endorsements. He has not lost any shows. The Closer is still either this morning it was number 4 on Netflix. I don't know where it is right now because You came out yesterday. So that took the number 1 spot above Squid Games. But it's still a very popular show that people are talking about. He had a sold out show this week at the Holiday Bowl for his upcoming documentary, to which he got like a 25, 30-second standing ovation from the audience and said, if this is what cancel culture feels like, then I love it. So he's getting money, people. Don't fall for the bullshit. He is getting money off of this. And he's the one that always talks about cancel culture, how he's being singled out for certain things. For his comedy show a couple of years ago, Sticks and Stones, what did he talk about? He talked about the audience. He talked about cancel culture. He talked about the transgender community. And he talked about Kevin Hart. For The Closer, what did he talk about? The audience, cancel culture, and the transgender community. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over. And this is how he is remaining relevant and staying a part of our conversation, even though his shit ain't funny.
All right. I want to jump in here before I give it to you, Robbie and Gianni. So I feel like he was not trying to be funny. I think, and I don't think it was a vendetta, but I think he was angry, and I think he was trying to make a point. And I think with the last 3, they weren't funny. They weren't his best comedic uh, performances. They just weren't. And I don't think he was intending to be funny. I think he was really trying to make a point. And it was a matter of trying to listen into what his point was, because I was talking to Rob B prior to the show, and I was saying, you know, um, I had to watch it twice. It was the first time I just watched it, I was looking for something funny, and it wasn't funny. It was just like really, really deep. There were some funny I thought there were some funny jokes in there, uh, but I felt like he was really trying to make a point. So I listened the second time around for the point, and I think his point was he was angry. He was angry at the
Hmm.
meanness that people have been spewing. It's just there's a lot of meanness, and I think he was angry with the cancel culture in general. That's why he brings it up a lot, because he's
Yep.
angry about cancel culture, especially for comedians who. And I know you don't like comedians, Liz, but um, the purpose of comedy is to, oftentimes you say offensive things um, to make people laugh, and that's always been the way it is. And we can change. I mean, culture can change over time, but that's been what he does. So if comedians like Kevin Hart and others have said things in the past and they can be more diligent now, saying the right, better things, that's fine. But I think he was really just trying to make a point that this cancel culture thing is not a positive. It doesn't accomplish the goal. Lizzie, you had your hand up. I know you wanted to respond to me.
So, yeah, very quickly before you kick it to Rob and Gianni, I honestly, I'm just like, okay, you have a right to feel how you feel. However, you are the one that's putting this information out there. You are the one who is consistently courting controversy, knowing that you are going to offend people, and they have a right to be offended. And again, he has not been canceled. There's nothing about David Chappelle that's been canceled. But this is how I look at it.
It's the
So
attempts
I had
to
a friend.
cancel him.
There are
It's not.
calls for cancel. They're
There's
calling
not.
for cancellation.
There's still. There's still, and and he talked about canceling other people as well. It wasn't just about him. I don't think it was about him specifically being canceled. I think it was talking about cancel culture.
But the culture within itself has a right to say, I don't like this. I think we should do something about think we should stand up. So let me just give you a very quick story.
I
So
agree with
I
that.
have a friend over the summer, one of my dearest friends, young Black woman. We were hanging out over the summer, and she has a friend who's a white male, right? A white male who been around a lot of Black people, lived in DC for a little while, so he feels comfortable making jokes, talking shit about Black people, right? And so he was talking, we were hanging out, she's talking to him on the phone, and he, to her, is making jokes not only about Black people, but about Black women, about the ghetto, about DC, all of these things. And so she's repeating some of that to me, which, you know me, I don't find that shit funny at all. Now, I've never met this young man in my life. I didn't want to, um, get into a back and forth with him because I didn't think he deserved my time. But I said to her, you tell him, because he attempted to apologize when she told him that my face like went to a whole different place. I'm like this the whole time. And he attempted to apologize. And I said to her, you tell him Black people are sick of being the butt of white people's jokes. And I think that's where the LGBT community is right now. They're sick of people making fun of them. They're sick of people using them as a landing point to launch their careers or to get some shine or to get some attention or whatever. I think that's where the community is right now. And they
That
have a
makes
right
sense.
to say that.
Mhm.
They
Sure.
have a right to say that. I might not agree with, all of their gripes or whatever, but I respect it.
All right.
And
Let's get.
so, anytime somebody's coming up to me thinking, okay, I know her, she's Black, I'm white, I'm Asian, whatever, I can say whatever. I'm like, no, you can't.
All right.
No,
Let's
you
let
won't.
Robbie and Gianni into the conversation. Robbie.
Mhm. I found it funny. I think that Dave Chappelle is a master at his craft. He is a gifted storyteller. And quite oftentimes, the story that he isn't telling, the story that he's currently telling, isn't what you should be focusing on. It's the subtext of the story that he's telling,
He uses
because he's got
sarcasm a
another
lot
point.
that's
Oh my
offensive,
God.
but it's the you have to know when he's using. You have to realize when
Yeah.
he's using the sarcasm and how he's
Yeah.
using it.
Does he
But
does he talk about
realize when it
divisive
goes
or challenging
overboard.
subjects? Absolutely. Is he going to piss people off? Absolutely. I really appreciate your thoughts on it, Ellen, because I was very curious. Just
Was too.
you've got a foot in two tribes, so to speak, to quote his word, right? But I dove into Dave Chappelle a little bit more and just listened to some interviews. And this is a man who observes, who grows, who learns, who loves being challenged by this type of commentary from the audience because it provides him that opportunity to grow and to learn. So props to him for that. I didn't, maybe I'm wearing a lens of privilege, but I didn't hear any attacks. And I was looking for it because I know that there's a segment of the population, and all not all of the LGBTQ camp is saying, "Hey, cancel Dave." There are people out there who are loving his shit.
Of
So,
course, of course.
right?
Absolutely.
The things that
Yeah.
sounded
And there's
like
a gradient
attacks,
too.
honestly, the things that were sounding like attacks, that may have sounded like attacks to people, weren't actually attacks. They were
Mhm.
making
You
fun
can't
of the
say
fact
that.
that people assumed that they were attacked.
But you
And
can't say that
it's
because you're not a part of the
relatable.
community.
Yeah.
You're not a part
It's
of the community.
relatable. He shares human stories and he exposes the dichotomy of values when he's talking about cancel culture, when he's talking about the baby coming out, and this is someone who gunned somebody down in a Walmart because he alleged that he was being attacked, that he was being robbed. He gunned down a 19-year-old in North Carolina, and then goes on stage and says some really heinous shit about the LGBT community.
But he
I
gets
get
repercussions
I
for
liked that point.
killing for making an attack on LGBTQ, but not killing somebody.
but goddamn right, you gun somebody down in a Walmart, and you get off on a technicality because a key witness didn't show up. All right, and you say something that you say mean things about a group or demographic, and people are all over your shit. And maybe with right, but I didn't hear anything malicious in what he was saying. And I didn't really get the feeling that the LGBT community was the butt end of a joke. It seemed more like a conversation that he was trying to have with the demographic. He opens with it and then finishes off with, I'm done. Like, I'm done
He
telling
ain't
these
done.
jokes. I just wanted to clear
He ain't done.
You know what?
I
Time
think
will
he is
tell.
actually, but
I think he
Oh,
is.
I want to
I
read a
think
quote.
this was a conversation to clear the air and saying, okay, now I'm done with this shit.
I want to read a quote real quick from the comedy. So he says, close to the beginning, "You guys are confusing emotions. You think I hate gay people. What you're really seeing is I'm jealous of gay people.
Mm-hmm.
We blacks look at the gay community and say, God damn it, look how well that movement is going. We've been trapped in this predicament for hundreds of years. How the fuck are you guys making that kind of progress?" He goes on to reference how gays still have the ability to fall back on the advantages of white privilege, saying some gay people are minorities until they need to be white again. So, he's speaking
It's true.
to the discrepancies of, you know, being black versus being gay. Like I say, I think he was
One,
angry. I think he made some
Yeah.
really
one.
strong points, and I think it was clear that he was directing it towards the specific community. But I do want to get Gianni back. Gianni,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Liz was about to say
go
No,
ahead.
no.
something. Okay.
Gianni, go ahead.
I mean, I feel like for the most part, everything you guys said was kind of what I was touching on and what I was thinking about. But I will say this: when it comes to, I know Ellen said she was offended in some way by what Dave Chappelle said, and I can understand that.
Only in
'Cause I
some
know
ways,
Rob,
not by the entire thing.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, and because I know Rob and Neo were saying that he didn't have the intent to be uh like offend anybody or malicious or any of that, but even though that's the case, he can still offend people. Like Liz said,
Mm-hmm.
still
Mm-hmm.
people can take that as offensive.
Yep,
What I will
absolutely.
say is I think like Neo said that Dave wasn't intending to be funny in this episode. He's just naturally like has an asshole type of sarcastic funny character, so it may come across that he's being funny, but I don't think he was intending to be funny. I think this was definitely like just a conversation, like Rob said. just to talk about people. Um, and and finally, I think that Dave Chappelle shouldn't be canceled. To answer my own, I don't think he should be canceled, and I don't think he will.
I'm sorry, you're trailing off. Say that again.
I said I don't think Dave Chappelle should be canceled, and I don't think he will.
Okay. Yeah.
I can,
Let me read
sorry.
before we comment. Let me get some of these comments online, and then we'll continue the conversation real quick. Jacqueline Robbins says, "I watched it twice, and I was trying to figure out the punchline because it's all so redundant and tired. Netflix is not going to cancel him because he makes a lot of money for them. He's an equal opportunity insulter, jokes against women, blacks, Asians, whites, and LGBTQ." Michelle Earls says, "You can't cancel a dude that canceled us over a decade ago. I enjoyed the special, but I respect the criticism."
There
Uh,
you go.
Lady
My
Annie
girl.
Burrell says, "No one should be the butt of the joke. We need to evolve." Salai Nakarati says, "Well summed up, Rob." All right. Okay, Ellen, you were going to say something? We've got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I want to clarify what I mean by offended because I don't mean that I watched that certain specific jokes because, by the way, it was offensive on a rolling basis. Like there were in the sense that there were some things that I was like, oh, this was acceptable. Like he said something about like older gays being called glory hole gays. I thought that was so funny. And so he said something about like aborting. He was like, we aborted the baby. And I was like, I can't believe I haven't seen someone make that connection before. But by offended, I mean, and I'm not even going to say that word. I'm not going to say that I was offended because I wasn't personally hurt by at least like, he made specific lesbian jokes about lesbians who look like me. And I wasn't specifically offended. I was just like, I mean, it just wasn't that funny. I wanted to laugh. I love comedy. But,
Yeah, he wasn't. It doesn't feel like he was trying to be funny at all, actually.
yeah, I mean, I think what I mean by offensive, and I think what a lot of people mean, um, is that if everyone were to perpetuate that joke and everyone were to think that it was okay and funny and appropriate in all situations, it would be harmful to that community. Like a lot of trans people were really frustrated because they were like, our community, people are literally dying of suicide all the time. And this woman, Daphne, killed herself, and he wasn't able to connect that his one example of a trans person in his life ended up dying by suicide. Like that should tell him something about the community and about the community being vulnerable. So I think also it makes more
But
of a
but the point
But
we're
his
missing though
point
is
was
his
very
point was
clear.
that it was the LGBTQ community that pushed them to the suicide.
see, I think that's
But,
I'm
but
gonna
we
be
don't know
honest.
that.
But
We don't know
I think
that.
that was
yeah,
maybe an
Liz,
assumption on his part, but that was what
yeah,
he
Yeah, we
Giant
don't
said.
know that. We don't know
Liz,
any
yeah.
type of mental issues that this person had before they attempted suicide. And in Dave Chappelle's offense, in his defense, he didn't really, he kind of like, blurred the lines between accusing the LGBT community and then saying, you know what, maybe there was something else going on. But you can't just come out and say, okay, because this person, caught some flack and then subsequently killed themselves, that was the cause. There are transgender who are suicidal, who are killing themselves every day in this country.
But
But his point was clear.
Yeah.
6 days of hate via Twitter didn't help the situation. And that none of us can disagree with it. 6 days of having the Twitter sphere, your tribe turn on you.
It may not have helped, but you can't say that was the exact cause.
But you can
No, but it's a
extrapolate
contributing
pretty
factor.
easily that could have significantly affected a human being. You can extrapolate
I think there's
You absolutely
there
can,
the
but you
people
can't say that this equals that.
No,
That's
certainly
my
you
point.
can't say anything.
You
You
can't
can't make
say that
those.
this equals
You
that,
can't
but
make
that's
those.
what
But you
that's
can
what the
extract.
people,
You
but that's what people who are defending him are saying. And in addition to that, the point that Ellen was making about being offended, you can be offended by something and not say cancel. Everyone is offended by something.
Yeah.
And so that's my issue with this.
I'll
Especially
admit
since
he was offensive, but I think he was intentionally offensive And that was part
But
of
you
his
can't.
Yeah,
point.
I think so too.
Okay, so then be intentionally offensive, and then accept the criticism that you're going to get.
Yeah,
That's my
I just think
point.
people overlooked what he was trying to get across through his offensive conversation. And
It's not
he
their
was being
fault,
sarcastically offensive.
but
He
it's
was
not.
doing it
But it's not
intentionally
their fault
to
that
make a point.
it's not their fault that his delivery was poor.
I
Like
mean, to
Jacqueline
them,
Robinson just said,
he delivered it
all
well to
of
me.
us,
I
Subjective.
got
all
it.
of us, we're all
Subjective.
interpreting it.
I got it.
It's all subjective. It's all
I
subjective.
got it.
We're all
It
interpreting
is.
it differently. And again, you're not a part of that community.
No,
I'm not a part of that
I'm not
community.
saying that I understand why it could be.
So,
I admit I understand. I get it. Why it would be
and so
offensive.
to put all of this out there, and then to come back and be like, see, look at what the fuck they are doing to me. I think that's not genuine at all.
No, I
Yeah,
honestly think he was a martyr. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's so worried about cancel culture. No, what I'm saying is I don't think he's worried about being canceled. I think that's what it's about. That's why he was.
Then,
That's
yeah,
why
I
he
don't think
felt
so
like he
either.
could be the spokesperson for
but then
against
stop
cancel
bringing
culture.
it up. But then
I think
stop
I
bringing it up.
honestly don't think
and
he was
say-
worried
because-
about being canceled.
But he
Yeah, I don't
keeps
think so either.
saying that he's being canceled. That's the
But he's not. That's not his point, though. His point is the culture itself.
I'm
He's
not
he's
talking-
okay.
I'm not talking.
He's like, go ahead, cancel me if you want. Try. That's what he's saying.
I'm not talking about in the show, in the episode. I'm talking about all of the conversations surrounding it, suggesting it, feeding into the cancel culture.
He was doing it for what he called his people, comedians,
His tribe.
people.
His tribe.
That's what he said at the end.
But then he's adding on to
Stop
it.
punching down
and
on
in a-
my people was how he
and-
ended his show.
But he's adding on to it and making money from it. And
I don't think
making
he's
money
worried about whether or not he makes money.
not
I don't think he
I'm not
cares if he
talking
gets
about what he's
canceled.
worried about. I'm talking about the reality of the situation.
He's
the
doing it for
reality
what
of
he
the
calls his
situation.
people. That's what I
And for
think
the
it was.
money.
Yeah.
And for the money.
He already got the
He's
money.
getting paid
So
millions of
wait,
dollars.
are
He's
you
already-
saying
Whether he
already
did
got
a
the
really good episode, if he did a terrible special, if he did a great special, he was getting paid either way.
so? Liz, are
That's
you
not-
saying
that's
that?
not the point.
Liz, are you saying that Dave Chappelle
We got 1 minute.
is like
All right,
kind of
flip down
being?
1 minute.
Do you think that Dave Chappelle is kind of like making a mockery out of cancel culture? What are you kind of saying about like what is that link that you have between cancel
I
culture
think that
and
he is courting. I
Chappelle?
think he's courting cancel culture.
Yep.
I think
Oh, I
he is out there,
Agreed.
using cancel culture to his advantage.
Yes.
I think that
By
he
advantage,
is,
but
even Neo said, he's not worried about it. But
I
he
don't think
keeps
he is.
telling people that he's worried about it.
Because he doesn't like
then-
the cancel
and
culture.
then the response, from people who are just like, oh, he's being canceled. People can't say this. People can't say that. Shame on you. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, I just like Dave Chappelle can get paid millions of dollars from Netflix and say XYZ. I can get paid nothing and respond to what he said in that special.
All right.
That's my issue. Everyone who's just like, he has a right to say, well, so does the LGBTQ community.
I'm gonna have to
They
hit the
have a
mute.
right to say what they want to say too.
All right, we got to shut it down. So, truth, lies, shenanigans. Is truth, lies, or shenanigans? I'm going with a big old truth.
Hated it.
She's hated it.
Not funny. Not funny.
I'm
Hated
gonna
it.
say truth for what he said about white people, but shenanigans for
Oh, you about to get
I liked the
canceled,
white
girl. You
joke.
about to get canceled. You about to get canceled.
I liked the white joke.
I love the
feel like
white
I
guy
do
name
agree with
jokes.
Ellen.
Clifford. I love the Clifford
I
jokes. That
Clifford,
was a
yeah.
funny line.
I had trouble catching on. I didn't really like the clip.
I feel like I do agree with Ellen when it
Girl.
comes to Dave saying things about
We're gonna
like
have to finish
white
it up in the
people
after
and-
show. Let's bring it up in the
Okay.
after show. Bring it up in the after show. All right.
Yeah.
So this segment was brought to you by Kalbanna. The mom life can be cool too. Check out Kalbanna, the awesome shop that offers clothing, accessories, and basic everyday essentials for the everyday mom. Visit kalbanna.com. That's KALBANNA.com. All right, thanks. Thanks for the shenanigans, guys. That was a great
Lies, shenanigans.
That was a great conversation. Now it's
dare
time
y'all
to
to cancel
get
today.
into